All right, somebody brought to my attention recently there is I want to say, nutrition person, fitness person by the name of Layne Norton. I've met with Layne before. I think he's overall a reasonable guy. Most of what he says to me is pretty good common sense. I mean, he's a proponent of strength training, protein, all the similar things I do. But then he goes on to say these carnivore idiots, as if people that are improving their health are now idiots. I mean, that's a really kind of an arrogant thing to say, in my view. And I don't consider myself an idiot personally, and I promote a carnivorous diet for people that need it, that it helps. And, there's plenty of ways to get healthy. There's plenty of ways to lose weight. But for some people, a carnivorous diet works the best for certain conditions, autoimmune conditions, gut health conditions, skin conditions, mental health conditions. It seems to be uniquely effective. And he says that, I would rather promote a fully plant-based vegan diet than a carnivore diet. And the reason is primarily because of fiber consumption. We know that fiber is associated with all these improvements in health outcomes, including cardiovascular disease, cancer prevention, longevity, all these things. And while when you look at the literature, there is an overwhelming preponderance of studies that do, in fact, support what he says as far as fiber being beneficial, in an association pattern that people that eat more fiber tend to live longer, they tend to have less diseases. And the question is, do the studies that show that actually show it's causative? And I think the answer is we don't really know. You also have to ask about, what are the comparators? Who are you comparing high fiber diets against when you're comparing low fiber diets? And typically, you're comparing it to low quality diets. You're seeing standard American junk food eaters. If you put fruits and vegetables into those diets and it displaces some of the junk food, then yes, clearly you're going to see an improvement. I mean, that's completely normal and makes sense. Now, when you compare it to someone on a carnivore diet, I don't know that the data shows that. In fact, I don't think we have any data to show that one way or the other. And so at this point, it's more of an unknown. Now, you may want to say, well, because it's unknown, I don't want to take that risk, and that's fine. Some people do. Some people are willing to. Some people like the fact that they don't hurt anymore. They're no longer in pain. Their autoimmune is gone, disease is gone. They're off medication. Some people prefer that, and I think that's very reasonable. We have this sort of people that, that they've got this arrogance that I am the science. We saw that, I'm not going to name any names. We saw that earlier this year, these people that I've got a PhD and I know the science and this is what the science says. And how dare you question the science? Well, questioning the science is science, quite honestly. That is how it's done. And, if you have data that says, fiber in the diet seems to be helpful, and you can use that to recommend people eat more fiber, but then you have direct observations of people that remove all the fiber from their diet, and all of a sudden they're getting really healthy. And not just one or two, we're talking thousands upon thousands of people. The scientist in you should say, well, wait a minute, maybe there's something here. Maybe fiber in this particular situation, in the context of no junk food, is neutral, or perhaps even not beneficial, maybe even harmful in some cases. That should be the sort of way to look about this thing. But instead, it's the arrogance of, this is what the science says, I am the science, and therefore you should listen to what I say, and anybody that disagrees with me is an idiot. Not helpful at all. And so that is, kind of how I would respond to that sort of criticism. I don't know if the carnivore diet is the ultimate best. It's going to make people live the longest. I don't think we know that on any diet, quite honestly. I am, however, interested in this observation. I can't deny it. What am I supposed to do with these observations? People tell me I went on a carnivore diet and I got off all my diabetes meds, and I got off my autoimmune meds, and I got off my blood pressure meds, and I got off my cardiac meds, and I got off my, eczema medications or whatever. What are you supposed to do with that? What are you supposed to do with those observations? Just ignore them and say, oh, well, you're just a weirdo, you're a genetic anomaly, you're probably lying, go away. Or what I think you should do is say, well, that's really interesting. Let's study this more. Let's see how common this phenomena is. Again, that's why we're starting Rivero. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be looking at these things. We're going to find out what works for people. And do what works, right? That's ultimately what you do what works for people. I don't think worrying about what I'm going to die of in 30 or 40 or 50 years or 10 years even is a very effective strategy. I think being as healthy as you possibly can today, right this minute, is what we should be focusing on. If you can get people off medication, you get them out of pain, improve their function, improve their body composition, that is tremendous. And that's what we should be focusing on. So anyway, Layne Norton, I respectfully disagree that fiber is always beneficial in all cases for all people. I think it is probably nuanced. I think it's probably in relation to a standard American diet. And that's my hypothesis. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. I'm willing to put several $1 million into that. In fact, that's what we're doing. We're raising money to do those studies to see if we can see a benefit. Anyway, you guys take care. We'll talk to you soon. Hopefully you knocked out your push-ups, and we'll be back later. Take care, guys.